this is an absolute treat for me. I'm totally I'm just so happy and proud to have the legend Julian the Hawk Jackson, one of my favourite fighters in history, on a ringside seat with Tassie. Welcome.
Well, oh man, it's a pleasure to be on your podcast. I think this is the first time I've been on it.
Yeah, it is, mate. It is. Hopefully, it won't be the last. But yeah, look, watching all those fights, especially in the '90s, mate, which is the golden era for me. That's when I first started boxing myself, and so many times I go to the local bar in Australia and just watch you pretty much knock out everybody.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, how's that?
It's just amazing. It's just amazing how you get fans all over the world, and you may not even realize it, if you're not really, you're not putting yourself on a pedestal, but wherever you go, people just recognize you,
Well, that's right. I mean, even all the way to Australia. I mean, anyone that knows boxing knows the Hawk, you know what I mean? So, mate, we'll delve into your career. Obviously, tell me first how you got started in boxing and how, you become an amateur, and just tell me a little bit about, the story there when you first got started in boxing.
Yeah. Well, I always, started out with my mother. I was a mama boy. I was close to my mother. My father wasn't there for me. He was a visiting father. I had 4 other siblings, but I was the one that was very close to my mother. And my mother sort of like wanted me to go and, venture, get out of the house and go and play with your friends. And she said, go and join some kind of a club, and I decided that, well, Ma, why are you chasing me? Why are you running me? And then I decided that, well, maybe if I join a boxing program, she would say no. She would be against that. I thought that it would have been something that she would have said, no, I don't want you to get beaten up. But to my surprise, she said, great. She said, man, I'm glad that you joined the boxing program. And believe me, I was shocked when my mother said, great. I'm glad that you joined the boxing program. And I tell you what, I didn't know that it would have, fulfilled destiny. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea that I would become, a world champion. And I joined the boxing program. And the next thing you know, I took all the bait and I took everything, even the sinker, man. I swallowed everything.
Well, that's
the rest is history.
That's it. So how many amateurs did you finish up having in amateurs?
Believe it or not, I only had 17 amateur fights.
Wow. Yeah.
I won 15 and lost 2.
Wow, geez, that's
yeah. And I lost one of them to Livingston Bramble.
Livingston Bramble, yeah. Well, geez, he would have been pretty light back then. You would obviously, because I think only used to fight about, I think, lightweight and super auto-weight. Yeah, I mean super.
Yeah. I was 130 something pounds, man.
Yeah, well, he became a world champion as well. So there you go.
Yes, he became a world champion about the same time, almost around the same time.
Is he from the Virgin Islands as well?
Well, he grew up here in the Virgin Islands, but he originally from St. Kitts.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's an interesting story. Wow, excellent.
Very interesting. From the Caribbean still, but we became good friends after fighting, and I lived in St. Thomas and he lived in St. Croix, which is our sister island.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And, then you turned professional, mate. So what made you turn professional? And did you have was you with Don King straight away, or did you have to, fight on the circuit for a while before you got recognised by a promoter? How did the pro career get started?
It got started because the Olympics was boycotted by, I think it's Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, that's right.
Was president at that time. They were having some kind of, disturbance with Russia or one of those places, and I couldn't go. So my trainer said he's going to turn me pro. You know, that thing, man, it touched me real bad because it was the very thing that I was looking forward to. I was working hard for the Olympics. And when I heard that, man, I cried, man.
Yeah, of course.
I couldn't believe it, man. I said, wow. And then my coach, Wilhelm George, he says, I'm going to turn you pro. And I had my first fight in Puerto Rico.
Wow. So 1980, that would have been for the Moscow Olympics, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's right. America boycotted. Then Russia boycotted 84 Los Angeles Olympics. So
Right.
Yeah. So you had your first fight in Puerto Rico. Okay. You had a few fights in Puerto Rico, didn't you? Start off with?
I had at least 6 fights in Puerto Rico. So my career started in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
In San Juan, yeah. Wow. Excellent.
Yeah, and it's my neighbor, really. You know, Puerto Rico is only about 40 minutes by plane.
Really?
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
So I've been fighting in Puerto Rico for many years because as an amateur, most of my fights was in Puerto Rico.
Well, they don't remember you there for sure.
You better believe it. I'll never forget. I went in to fight a next young prospect, amateur, was a very good athlete, good boxer, and they said the winner of this match will become a world champion, and I end up winning.
Wow.
And they prophesied. Listen to me, they were prophesying and didn't even know it.
There you go. And so you worked your way up, obviously, you know, and you got a world title shot. Your first world title shot was against a bit of a legendary fighter himself, McClellan. It was a bit
Mike McCallum.
He was
the body snatcher.
The body snatcher, a great fighter and legend in his own right. He started off in a pretty good first round, but obviously you heard him. It was a bit of a shootout, wasn't it? Yeah, definitely a shootout.
Yeah. You know what? I'll be honest with you, man. If Mike Tyson was on the other end of the corner, I thought I was going to knock him out, man. I was so confident.
Really?
You know, I went in there, you know, with all the confidence in the world. The whole of the U.S. Virgin Islands were backing me up, and man, I let them down. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me. My first loss, and fighting for a championship of the world. It really had an effect on me to a point where I did not want to come back to St. Thomas. I did not want to come back to the Virgin Islands. I wanted to give up. I wanted to retire. I wanted to quit boxing. I was wounded, man. Yeah, but again, somebody told me, my wife, at that time was my girlfriend, said to me, your family will forget you, will turn against you. The government will reject you, but God will never reject you. And when she said that, that gave me a little more, I would say, confidence to really go and face the people, you know, that I had let down so badly. But eventually, things worked out. That loss really defined me. That loss made me, you know, the boxer that I was supposed to be.
You always learn from your losses, you know. Like
that's right, man.
You know, and you always come back big. I mean, there was a great fighter, the legendary Floyd Patterson, when he got knocked out by Sonny Liston, he started Igor Johansson. So when he lost to Igor Johansson, he was wearing a fake mustache and a fake beard and a fake nose because he didn't want to be recognized. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So some people take their losses differently, but you learn from your losses, and it makes you a better fighter down the track, makes you more hungrier.
You better believe it, man. And a lot of boxers don't understand it. That's why my trainer always told me, I don't want you to put pressure on yourself. You're going in there for experience. Win or lose, you are a winner just because you worked hard, you trained hard, you sacrificed. Okay? So that took a lot, you know, of pressure off of me as an amateur going into fights. That's right. I went in there and I did my best. And you know what? it really turned out to work in my benefit. You know what I'm saying? It worked for me. And I've been doing that, right? I've been doing that. You know, I'm a trainer now. I have a lot of amateur fighters. And, you know, I'm telling them the same thing, man.
No, that's awesome. So you had a few more fights. You won, then you got a world title shot again against Korean boxer Baek In-chul
In-chul Baek.
in Vegas for the WBA
Yes.
super welterweight title, which you won by TKO in round 3. Talk me through that fight and become a world champion. Tell me the feeling when you finally conquered the mountain.
Listen to me, man. Look, I've got a testimony. You know, I'm a man of God. You know, I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna be afraid. I'm not ashamed. You know, God turned my life around. And I'll tell you what, I was visited by 3 witch doctors that they was going to help me to become the world champion. They said I couldn't win it the first time because I was not prepared. I was not covered. I didn't have a guard. This is what was told to me because they said the other fighter had his guard. And I'm like, what? And I said, man, I don't believe in the devil, man. I'm not going to, you know, I told my mother said, if you play with the devil, he wants blood. And I said, no way. And here it is now. I'm going into the fight. It's my worst training. It's my worst camp. It's the worst time of my boxing career. I got knocked down in training.
Wow.
By a guy by the name of In-chul Baek.
Yeah, I've heard of
in
him.
Las Vegas.
Yep.
Okay, and everybody heard about it. Don King heard about it. And the next thing you know, I'm going into the fight. And Carl King comes and said to me, hey, Julian, Dad told me to tell you, stay away from In-chul Baek or else he's going to knock you out. Can you imagine man, I was just like, go and tell Don King, this is going to be my easiest fight.
Wow, that made you more focused.
Because God came into my life and God told me, because you didn't go to the witch doctors, you didn't go to the Obia man, you came to me. I accepted him as my Lord and Savior. And I tell you what, brother, I'll be honest with you, man, this is real. And I went on my knees and God told me that he's going to give me this fight. And my strength, my timing, my speed came back. And I told my trainer, I want to spar with the guy that knocked me down in the training gym, in the gym. And he said, okay, but you got to fight him first. We can't use him for last. And I said, no problem. Give me In-chul Baek. I mean, give me I call his name in the beginning, but he's not in. His name was Israel Cole. Yes, Israel.
Oh, okay.
And I said, give me Israel Cole. And he said, okay, but only for 3 rounds. And I said, good. And only he's going to be the first one. And the next thing you know, I went into spot and his coach was taunting me. His coach was teasing me.
Really?
He said, hey, champ, we're going to take it easy on you, champ. We're not going to knock you down again, champ. You know? And I tell you what, my coach was very concerned. He was very concerned about what was going to happen. Everybody got around the ring because they believed that Israel Cole was going to dominate me again. He was going to knock me down again. But I tell you what, man, the Hawk was back. You hear me? The Hawk was back. And he took off his glove in the second round because, let me tell you something, I was on top of him. I wanted that revenge. I wanted that sparring again. And listen to me, my trainer was running around the ring. That's the Hawk. The Hawk is back.
Yeah, wow.
Man, look, I'm telling you, and I went into the fight. You hear me? I went into the fight with confidence, knowing that God had transformed my life.
Yes.
I knew that something happened to me when I went on my knees and talked to God. And I said, God, I could have gone to the witch doctor, but I didn't. I came to you. I gave my life to you. And I'm asking you to give me back my strength. He did. And then let me tell you something. In-chul Baek was a big guy. He was one of the biggest Korean I've ever seen.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he was big. He was bigger than I was. And next thing you know, the bell rings, And I'm doing what Dan King said. I'm doing what my coach said. Move. Don't get too close to him. Keep your hands up. Okay, box him. And we boxed. And man, I can't tell you that I won that round or he won that round. You know, it was probably even. But then I told my coach that I'm going after him. I'm seeing everything in the second round. And I went straight at him. He thought I was going to run from him. But we collide in the middle of the ring. And I caught him a body shot. And that's when I heard Mills Lanes was the referee. Good shot. I've never heard a referee make a comment like that. When I hit him to the body and I heard good shot.
That's crazy. Like, wow. Yeah, you don't usually, I mean, they've got to be neutral, so they don't usually, that's it. That's crazy,
they got to be neutral. And I'm like, what? But anyway, I dominated him in the second round. And in the third round, I told my coach, I'm going after him. And my coach said, go, but keep your defense up. And I went after him. Oh, my goodness. I caught him a body shot, left hook, right hand. He went down. Okay. And the referee got back up. I went back after him. Boom! Caught him a next right hand, right hook, left hook. And he was out of the rope. And the referee ran over there and just started to wave his hands. And the fight was over. And I ran right in the middle of the ring. Went on my knees, lift my hands up to God and say, thank you for the victory.
Unbelievable. World champion, #1.
First time becoming, I made history, man.
You did, yeah. And how was it? How was it when you went home? I mean, did you come home to a hero's welcome? Did they do a national parade day? Like, tell me what they done back home.
Man, you wouldn't believe this, champ. You wouldn't believe this. When I fought for with Mike McClellan and lost, there was 2 school bands, a red carpet coming off of the Pan Am Air jet.
Mm-hmm.
And when I won and knocked out In-chul Baek, the only people that was to the airport was my family.
Really?
And a reporter, believe it or not.
That's unbelievable. You wouldn't think that. You think that'd be all behind.
I'm not exaggerating. I'm not telling you some story. I'm telling you facts. I'm telling you the truth.
There you go.
It was amazing. It was just amazing. I was shocked. I guess, people didn't expect me to win.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I was not expected to win. And man, the table was turned. And I made history, man. And man, it was one of the greatest fights that I said that was one of the greatest fights that I've ever been involved in. Why? Yeah. Because destiny was involved. God was involved. The devil was involved. The devil tried to get me to sell out to him. But I said no. And I went to God and I sold out to God. And I'm still with God.
That's beautiful, my brother. So after that, you had a few title defenses. Then you took on a very, future, champion, future Hall of Famer who I had on recently, Terrible Terry Norris. I had him on my podcast recently, and so I mean he was a great fighter, and you retained. I mean, I remember watching that fight. I think he boxed pretty good in the first round, but he knocked him.
He was very quick. He was a very lucrative fighter, and my corner was a very good corner, and they told me to keep the pressure on him. Yeah, just keep the pressure on him, and until you see the opening, until you see the opportunity, jump on it, and that's exactly what took place, man. In the third round, I was on him, and he was backing up, and the pressure was really hard, and he dropped his hand, and I saw a left hook, and I caught him. I caught him with the right hand. Right? They told me that I didn't have to hit him again, but the left hook was what I was setting him up for.
Yeah, well, I mean that was a great victory because he went on to become probably one of the best 154-pounders of the 90s, didn't he? He went on.
Can you imagine that? He fought Sugar Ray Leonard.
He did. He fought Donald Curry as well.
Donald Curry, and the thing is, I was supposed to get the fight for what's his name? Sugar Ray Leonard. But Sugar Ray Leonard said, "Nah, I'm not going to fight Julian. He hits too hard."
Yeah, look, I'm glad
you did. In the press conference.
I'm glad you didn't fight Sugar. Because I mean, he would have been a bit past it by then, and your power, it wouldn't have been good for Sugar. You know, as great as he was.
Yes, and I tell you what, he was right now. He was coming down the hill now.
Yeah, of
that's
course.
the way I see it.
Yeah,
he was coming down the hill a little bit.
He's one of the Sugar Ray Leonard's one of the pound for pound greatest of all time.
Oh, you better believe it, man.
You know,
amazing fighter, man.
Yeah, so that was a great victory over Terry Norris, and I remember that very well. So then you went up and you fought. I was just in Saudi Arabia this weekend. I was at the Bivol Bedadiev rematch.
Yeah. I saw that.
I only got home today to Australia, and I was talking to a few English people, a lot of British, and I said I got Julian the Hawk Jackson coming on my podcast, and they all mentioned about you knocking out Herol Graham to win the WBC middleweight. You went up to middleweight. It was vacant.
I went up to middleweight. You know what? Dan King promised to give me $1 million payday, and but I had to vacate the junior middleweight and go into the middleweight where I could get bigger names, bigger fighters, and that was something that I wanted to do. My camp sat down and we said, okay, in order for us to make a little more change, you gotta step up in weight. And I stepped up in weight, and it was amazing that Harold Graham was a tremendous fighter, man. He was a really tremendous opponent.
Very good boxer.
I had to look at him. I looked at him a couple of times, and I said, "Wow, he's a strong guy, man." And but I knew that my power made up for my weight. Moving up in the middleweight, my punching ability, went with me. I didn't leave it behind.
That's right. Well, I mean, that's probably one of the most memorable knockout I think it's been highlighted on YouTube over and over again, and it's a bit of a sickening knockout, really. I think he was unconscious for a few minutes, and I remember just talking to a few British people. You actually broke the Britain people's hearts that day when you knocked out their champion. But I mean, that's boxing. That's boxing, and it was a great victory against a very good opponent, and you become a world champion in 2 divisions.
Yes. And you know what? My heart went out to him. He was giving me a lot of problems. He was southpaw. Southpaw was one of my most difficult opponents. And I had to switch because my I think it's my left eye was swollen.
Yeah, and
the referee said if I don't do something about it, he's gonna stop the fight. And I said, no way, man. So I turned to southpaw. And Harold Graham thought he had me. He thought he was coming in for the kill.
Near the ropes, wasn't it? Near the ropes.
Against the rope. He was coming in for the kill. And I set him, to tell the truth, I set him up because he thought that he was going to knock me out because of my eye. And I set him up because he came in at the right time, at the right point, and I caught him with a right hook. Oh, man, I hit him flush, and I knew from the time I hit him, it was done. There was no ifs and buts about it.
Nah.
I just raised my hands. But you know what? My heart goes out to him.
Of course.
I know he was not doing too well, as we grew in age. And, I was given the opportunity many times to go up there to have some kind of fundraiser to help him out.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. And my heart goes out to him, and I spoke to him on phone and stuff like that, and there was no animosity whatsoever.
No, I mean, us boxers, we're all brothers together. We all know what we
definitely, man.
We all know going into a fight what can happen. So we're all prepared for that.
That's right.
That's what we choose. But I mean, we all get on so good. I mean, we're friends of our opponents. We're friends of our people. Like, I mean, it's just a it's a great, great thing that,
Yeah, man. It's one of the most notablest,
yes.
I would say, sporting event. It's, a lot of people said it's brutal, but I think it's up to the individual. It's according to your heart.
That's right.
Some fighters will take it to a level, where a lot of people will, be afraid. But then when they do fight and lose or win, they will embrace each other. They will become best of friends.
That's right.
We are warriors, but guess what? In the end, we are all fighters, man. And that's something that I believe that boxing, has done for me. It made me respect, all the other athletes, all the other fighters out there.
That's right. Did you go to any of the reunions and that they do, of the boxing reunions? Do you ever go to many of them?
And any other boxing reunion or Hall of Fames or
stuff like
about?
that. Yeah.
I've been to many of them. I've been to most of them, man.
That'd be awesome to catch up with everybody, and that'd be
man.
Really cool.
I have so many pictures. Oh boy. I mean, it's just amazing, and after retirement and to get to see each other, to talk to each other, just to talk about your life and, what's happening, and meet your wives and meet, your kids sometimes. It's amazing, man.
No, it's beautiful. So you had a few more defenses and you actually fought Thomas Tate. That one went the distance. Run me through that fight. That was in Las Vegas.
Oh, man, I love that fight. Man, that fight showed the world that the heart can also box.
Yeah.
I can endure. I can think. I can move. You know what I'm saying? This kid, Thomas Tate, was a tough fighter. He was a skillful fighter as well. And, he came in there with a determination. This kid was determined. As a matter of fact, his coaches, I remember his coaches, and they tried to, they had a fighter that came to the camp in Ohio and trained with me. And he was a southpaw and he could have boxed. Man, he was good. And there are times he would have a good spar session with me. And, and a lot of guys in the gym, a lot of other coaches, and say, man, this kid is good, Julian, man. He really worked good with you today, man. Wow. I said, yeah, man. But you know what? It'll be a whole different story when we face each other in the ring.
Of course, sparring's different. Sparring's different than fighting.
It's totally different. And that actually happened. But Thomas Tate was from that same, gym.
Yeah.
He was from that same stable. And they literally felt that Thomas Tate would have beat me. He would have outboxed me.
Yeah, well, you proved him wrong, mate. You won a unanimous decision. And then you TK'd Eddie Hall at the Mirage.
Yes. But I want to say something about Thomas Tate.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing. I think the referee that was refereeing was the guy from Las Vegas. I forgot his name, man.
Richard Steele. Richard Steele. Yeah.
Richard Steele.
That's right.
And I remember, listen to me, I remember Richard Steele, and he was very near to us. He was very close because we were trading punches, man. And I was trading punches, and there were times I felt that I had Thomas Tate, on the back pedal, and I was attacking him, and I caught him some good punches. And then all of a sudden, I heard Richard Steele telling Thomas Tate, keep your hands up. And I'm like, what? I'm like, how you can be telling him to keep his hands up?
That's crazy.
It was crazy. Look, believe me, it was just shocking. I went back to my corner. I said, man, the referee is telling my opponent to keep his hands up, man. What kind of thing is this? You know, and it turned out to be a tremendous fight. Again, I kudos to to Thomas Tate. He was a tremendous athlete too.
Yeah, he was a very good fighter. Very, very good fighter. So after that, you had a win over Eddie Hall. Then you defended your title against another big puncher, Gerald McClellan.
The monster.
Yeah. Run me through we fought twice. Run me through the first fight. I mean, did you going into it? Was you aware how good he was as well, or did you think that you was going to walk through him? Tell me the mindset going into that fight.
But in that fight, I knew I was gonna. As a matter of fact, I looked at some of his fight, and he was a good puncher. We realized that, and I knew I was going to knock him out. Okay, I knew it, man. I was pepped. I was pumped, and we went into the fight, and man, well, we were at it, and believe me, I realized that he was running out of gas. As a matter of fact, it was told, he himself told me that he didn't want to come out in one of the rounds. I'm not too sure if it was round 10 or 9, but he did not want to come out, but they pushed him out. But I got a little too cocky, and I dropped my hand. Yeah. And that was one of my greatest mistakes. And he was still dangerous.
Yeah,
and he caught me, man. He caught me right on the button, man.
And you had a few wins in a row. You won the next 2 fights by KO in round 1, and then you beat a guy on points. You rematched McClellan after that as well. Run me through that one. I mean, that obviously didn't go to plan. What was the difference in the first one and the second one?
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not here to make I'm not here to make excuses, but I was injured, man.
Yeah.
I was injured in that fight. I had to fight financially. I was really down. I had to fight. The doctor. As a matter of fact, my camp was in Puerto Rico.
Oh.
My camp was in Puerto Rico. I almost had the opportunity to spar with, what's his name?
Felix Trinidad?
Felix Trinidad. They said we look alike.
Tate Trinidad.
Yeah. They said we look alike. But I got injured, man.
That would have been a good spar because he could punch as well.
Yeah. But he didn't want to. His coaches didn't want him to spar with me.
Yeah. Well, he's a bit smaller too, a bit lighter.
Yeah, he's a bit smaller. Yeah, just a bit smaller. But I went into the fight with the second fight with In-chul Baek with an injury, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of people didn't know that, but it was a desperate time for me financially.
Yeah, of course. People don't realize what the fighters go through. I mean, there's reasons sometimes when we have to fight because, as you said, financially and things like that. So tell me, was it very hard for you to see McClellan how after the Nigel Benn fight? Was it hard for you as a former opponent and probably most likely a friend? Was it hard for you to see how that fight with Nigel Benn ended and how he is now?
Oh, definitely. As a matter of fact, I knew that something was wrong with Gerald. When I fought him the first time, he was rushed to the hospital. You hear me? He was rushed to the hospital. And I was told that he was fainting. He couldn't, it was hard for him. And they had to literally roll him out, man, in the first fight. And they told me that what he used to do is after training and after, he makes weight, he eats about 6 Big Macs.
What?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is no good for you, man.
Of course not.
And they said that he was a McDonald's freak.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I tell you what, look, that is that is a prime example that you can't survive on those fast foods, man.
No, of course not. Nutrition is as important as training. Yeah,
You bet.
nutrition.
Whatever you put inside of you is what
Thank
is
you.
going to make you.
Thank
is
you.
What,
that's right.
That's right. And he's putting junk inside of him. And that's why he was, affected by that aneurysm, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know,
I think he had trouble making the weight as well, and I mean he had been knocked out in the first round through the ropes, so he was unlucky. It didn't end there. True, and Ben come back, and very sad to see. I believe his sister looks after him now, and so
I visit him. His sister. I went to his home. I talked to them. I shared with them. I helped them out a bit. And
God bless.
As a matter of fact, I used to train his son too.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's right. Yeah. I also want to say this. I think he was having some serious headaches after the fight. That's why they rushed him to the hospital after my first fight with him.
That's the thing,
crazy.
because that's what I actually thought. It's not necessarily the Ben fight that it happened. It's the fights before. It's the fights before.
The fights before that actually, brought this thing on, because his lifestyle, his eating habits, all of that had a lot to do with it, man. I know Nigel Benn was really affected, Yeah,
he was. I heard.
He was really affected, man. But it wasn't his fault, man.
Of course not. And you become world champion again. You won the vacant WBC middleweight title by knocking out Augustiano,
yes, from Spain.
Yeah. In round 2, you become champion again.
Man, amazing, man. Wow, it's amazing. They always say that the only thing goes from a fighter is his speed, but the power always stays.
Always. My father, God bless his soul, always told me, you've always got your punch till you're very old. That's why George Foreman can still knock people out. Exactly right. Exactly right.
That's right. You better believe it. It's the truth.
That's right.
Wow.
You're known as arguably one of the heaviest punchers in history. I think they always say you and Ernie Chavez. Is that true?
Wow. Yeah. I've heard.
Big Ernie. Yeah.
And I you know what? I always tell people I've worked with guys to try to help them develop power. But sometimes, if you're born with it, sometimes you can be born with it.
My father always said it's God given. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree. I agree.
You're either a puncher or you're not. I mean, you can get stronger, you can improve your technique, but I believe you're born with a natural punch.
You're born with it.
Yeah.
Right.
So thanks for confirming that from the actual biggest puncher of history, Julian Jackson, just confirmed. That's my argument. I've always said it. You can do all the strength conditioning, you can do all the weights and all that stuff. It doesn't mean anything. I think it's God-given. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what? I know if you're a coach and you can hold pads with, several boxers, and you could hold pads with guys that hit so hard, but yet they don't seem to have the ability or the finesse like the other fighters. And when you hold pads with the other fighters, they don't hit as hard.
That's right.
Because it's not something that is natural. Some fighters have natural ability to punch hard, to hit hard.
That's right.
And that was my case. My trainer told me, he says, Julian, you don't have to try to hit me hard. All you have to do is throw the punch.
That's right. It's just let it go. Let it go.
Just let it go.
Yeah. So tell me, as I was talking to someone in Saudi Arabia, because I was at the event on the weekend, and they were trying to say it's the greatest card ever and all that. Look, it was a good card, but I remember the Don King cards. Don King would have about 10 world title fights. It'd be you, it'd be Pernell, Whitaker, Julio, Cesar, Chavez, Mike Tyson, Ricardo Lopez, Mervyn Taylor, Terry Norris, all on the one show. There was many shows like that Don King done, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I was always on either on Mike Tyson on the card and Chavez on the card.
Chavez, yeah, I love Chavez.
I was always with on Chavez. I fought in Mexico as the co-event in Mexico in one of the what they call those the bull ring.
Yeah, the bullfighting ring. Yeah,
the bullfighting ring, and it had about 60,000 plus.
He was huge, man. Wasn't he, in Mexico? Chavez was huge in Mexico.
Mexico, man, amazing. And I fought on a lot of the undercards of these champions, and eventually, you know, I was able to become one again. I headlined, a few cards as well. So boxing was good to me, man. I tell you what, if I had to, you know, redo my life and get into boxing again, the only thing I would change is my promoters.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. So tell me a bit about that. What was it like? Did you have a friendship with Mike Tyson? What was it like to be around Mike?
Oh boy, Mike Tyson was a trip, man. Look, this guy was street, man. Here, you wanna talk about being street? Yeah, he was street savvy, you know. And one time he used to call me Bob Marley. He said, "Hey, Bob Marley," and I said, "Nah, man, I'm not Bob Marley." He says, "Man, you guys have marijuana growing in the streets all over in your neighborhood, in your backyard." I said, "No, Mike, no, we don't. You know, I'm from the Virgin Islands. I'm not from Jamaica. Yeah. I'm from the Virgin Islands." He says, "Yeah." I said, "Listen, Mike, listen." He said, "Julian, don't you go around knocking guys out?" I said, "No, I'm not like you."
He would have liked you though, being another puncher. He would have liked that.
Yeah, but we became good friends. Yeah, we are still good friends. You know.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I've met him once. He's a wild
guy, man. Yeah.
He's a wild guy. Yeah. He's a wild guy. Well, see, my former coach Jeff Fennick is very close to Mike Tyson. You know Jeff Fennick?
Wow, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
He's a
Jeff Fennick,
WBC.
yeah. I remember him.
Yeah, he was a machine too. He's a street guy
man.
as well.
Wow.
Great fighter.
Wow.
Great fighter. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
There's a fighter that I think he's a Muslim. Does he live? You're in where do you live?
I'm in Melbourne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who's the fighter? Who is he?
If I remember his name well, he was a very awkward fighter. He was a Muslim. He would put on a show. You know him? Oh,
Prince Nazim Hamed. Prince.
Ahmed. Yeah.
He's English. Britain, England.
Oh, he's Britain. Okay.
He's Britain. Yeah. He was unbelievable. You know what? Funny you say that. I was with him on the weekend at the Bivol fight in Saudi.
I used to love to watch his fights.
Me too. He was excited. He'd do a big entrance show.
He brought a different taste, a different look.
He was great. Well, Naz was also. He's from the UK. Great fighter.
Yeah, okay.
Legend.
Okay, yeah.
So,
he lives there now.
Yeah,
he lives there now, right?
Yeah, he's born and raised there. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
So tell me,
I thought he was in Vegas.
Nah. So tell me, who's some of your favorite fighters like around that era, or growing up? Who were some of the guys that you looked up to?
Well, you know, as a youngster growing up, Muhammad Ali was one of the greatest fighters of all, man.
And
everybody fell in love with this brother, man. But you know, he was one of mine. I also love Joe Frazier.
Yep.
You know, in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? And then coming up to the lighter weight classes, you know, Azuma Nelson.
Oh, I love Azuma.
Oh man, Azuma Nelson was my friend. Yeah, man, we fought. As a matter of fact, we trained together with in camp with Dan King. Really? Over in Ohio, Ohio. And we became good friends, man. But he fought a guy that's from Mexico. Oh, my goodness.
Salvador
Sanchez.
One of the greatest ever.
An athlete. Oh, man, he was amazing. Wow, I didn't have the opportunity to meet him. I always wanted to meet him. He was one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah, he died young, a car accident.
Alexis Aguayo.
Oh, baby, now you're talking.
Alexis Aguayo.
I love Alexis Aguayo. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. I saw when the True Hawk, Aaron Pryor.
Oh, the True Hawk, Aaron Pryor. Yeah. Oh, now we're talking. I
saw that fight, and let me tell you something, man. Alexis hit Aguayo. Hit Aaron Pryor with some of the hardest right hands.
How did he get through it? How did he survive it? I don't know.
How in the world did he survive? I couldn't believe it.
Cincinnati.
Wow.
Cincinnati.
That was one of my, I've been to Atlantic City, and I saw, first time I've ever saw Aaron Pryor. And he was hitting the bag. I didn't know it was him. He was hitting the bag. And I was very green in my, in my professional career.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this dude, and I said, "Who's this guy, man? He was hitting that bag, and what the things that he was doing on that bag." I was like, "Whoa!" He was using that bag like a speed bag, and he was rolling under it. And I said, "Who's that?" They said, "That's the Hawk." I said, "Wow!" I said, "He's right." And I got my name here in the Virgin Islands because a lot of the guys here, my friends, my schoolmates, even as an amateur, they said, "Julian, man, we're gonna call you the Hawk because a lot of the chickens are running from you." Whenever the Hawk is in the air, all the chickens begin to run for cover.
That's right. That's awesome, man.
And that's where I got my name from.
That's so cool.
Growing up, and to meet Aaron Pryor, the Hawk, I shook his hands. I said, "Man, they call me the Hawk as well." And I said, "Man, it's a privilege to be carrying that name, man."
Man, you just mentioned some all-time legends of the sport. I'll tell you, one of my favorite fighters coming up was Pernell Whitaker. Loved him.
Woo! Yeah,
Sweet Pea. Unbelievable.
Sweet Pea, man. Wow.
Did you know him very well?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I met him in Vegas. Wow. There was something that we were doing together. Something. But it was I forgot what it was, man. But we did something together, and he had his belt, I had my belt.
Yeah.
And we were on a stage together. I'm not too sure if we was fighting or if we were being inducted or something like that.
Yeah. No, but he was there.
He was a tremendous athlete, man.
Unbelievable. God rest his soul, mate. He was such a great boxer. And so what do you think of the current fighters, or who do you like to watch currently? Who's someone that you sort of in this current era?
Oh man, my boy Crawford, man.
I was with Crawford 2 nights ago. I love Crawford, Bud.
That's my boy, man. I back him. Look, it's gonna be. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I know that he's going into a heck of a fight with Canelo. Our boy.
Yeah, Canelo.
And Canelo is a monster. But I tell you what, Crawford has the ability. His name Crawford. He has that craft, man.
Yeah.
He has that craft, and don't be surprised, okay, that he will pull a trick out of his hat, man. They know something. Believe me, his corner has a tremendous ability, to figure out the opponents, to time their opponents. And this kid has one of the best timing that I've seen in boxing.
Yeah. No, he's a generational talent.
You're right. He is a generational talent.
I think he beats Canelo. I was with him we've become good friends. Actually, I'm actually bringing Bud to Australia for a tour in a
Yeah,
couple of
awesome,
months.
man. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's a cool guy. I think he's going to do it.
Believe it or not, I have him winning as well.
Yeah. Wicked.
I believe that. Listen, I believe this kid he's like a magician, man.
He is. He's very competitive too. He's very competitive.
Very, very, very competitive.
Yeah. No, I believe he'll shock the world. Well, he won't shock us because we believe in him. And
right.
I want to let's do a shout out to Terrence who watched this on your Terrence.
Yeah, Terrence, one love, man. Yeah, one love.
That's so cool. Another thing.
I was always behind of him when he fought. What's his name?
Spence. Yeah.
You know, and I was the only one in the club.
Wow.
That was backing Crawford.
Wow.
Everybody money was on Spence.
Yeah. Gee.
And let me tell you something, they could not believe. I'm not a gambler. You know what I'm saying? They said, Julian, man, you could have walked out of here with thousands of dollars.
He done it easy too. Man. He done it easy. He done it very easy.
Yeah, man. It was amazing. They just couldn't believe it. They just couldn't believe it. And I tell you what, he made a lot of unbelievers believers.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
That's right.
What did you think of Roy Jones's career?
Oh, Roy Jones, a tremendous athlete as well. Very talented. He was one of them that was born with speed.
Yeah.
Good reflexes.
So fast.
Very quick. Yeah, his reflexes was off the chain. You know what I'm saying? His power wasn't all of that, but his speed, man.
Yeah. Cat
he was a tremendous
quick
fighter as well. Yes, he was a tremendous fighter, man.
I really when he defeated James Toney, because I love James Toney as well. I think that was
man, I was supposed to fight James, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Look, let me tell you something. I'll tell you this. I sat we were in Vegas, and Dan King was on the table with me, and what's his name? The other promoter in Vegas.
Bob Arum.
Bob Arum was on the table with James Toney, and I'm looking him in the eye. He's looking me in the eye, you know, and 850,000, man, was the contract.
Oh, wow.
And I signed it first. I said, let's get it on, brother.
Yeah.
Let's get it on. And he was ready to get it on too. And we pushed the contract over to Bob Arum. And he says, okay, let's go. And then all of a sudden the phone rings. And when Bob Arum picks up the phone, he said, don't sign. Hold a second. It was Shelly
Finkel.
Yes. And she said, if he signs that contract, I'm going to sue his drawers off of him.
Oh, wow.
And guess what? He couldn't fight me.
Would have been a great fight.
Just because I was a Dan King's fighter.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Jeez, a shame.
Guess what? Dan King said, "I'm going to keep the purse, but you're going to fight somebody else. I'm going to get somebody else for you." And guess who it was?
Who?
It was the same guy that you just mentioned, Roy Jones.
Wow. Wow.
It was Roy Jones. And listen to me. I was like, let's get it on.
Yep.
Let's get it on. He was in my weight class at that time.
Yeah. Wow.
So Dan King says, you're going to get this fight, man. You're going to get this, because I was fighting for $1 million payday. It wasn't it was close to $1 million, you know. It was getting there.
Yeah, it's close.
But then Dan King said, okay, I'm gonna call his dad. We're gonna speak, and we're gonna get a range. So I'm in the room. Dan King calls his father. His father was his his manager and all of that, and his promoter.
Yeah, Roy Senior back then. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and Dan King said, I got a $850,000 fight for you. He says, oh yeah? He says, great. I'll take it. We take it. You know? He says, who's the fighter? He says, Julian Jackson. He said, no way.
Yeah,
I heard him. I heard his father says, no, he hits too hard.
Yeah, it probably wasn't the right fight at that time for him, for sure.
Man, I was like, look, listen to me. I couldn't believe it. I said, no. And then Dan King had to literally, get a lesser fighter. So the purse dropped.
Of course, yeah. Unfortunately.
Man, my purse dropped. 450.
It's a big drop.
Yeah,
big drop. Yeah.
It was a big drop, man. It was a big drop. And oh my. And
so
had the opportunity to fight two legends, two guys that were James Toney was one of the best defense fighter.
Oh,
Roy Jones ended up to be one of the quickest, fastest. Oh, he even went up to heavyweight, right?
He did. He beat John Ruiz. Yeah, he did. Yep.
He was the champion, heavyweight champion.
Yeah, he was.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
Wow. Imagine that. Amazing.
Yeah, legendary
wow.
fight. Legendary. So you retire. You finish up retiring. Your record was 55 wins, 6 losses, 49 by knockout. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a career. What a.
Wow, man. You know what? I like I said. I won't regret. I don't regret anything. Here it is, a little island boy. St. Thomas is only 132 square miles, man. This is a dot on the map.
So how far from LA in a flight from LA? How far?
Oh boy, that's at least about maybe 3 to 4 hours.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
What state is it closest to in America? What's somewhere where I might know?
Miami.
Okay. How long from Miami? How long?
About maybe 2 hours. Two.
I want to come visit you one day, my friend.
It'd be great, man. We have a nice gym here. We are getting things in place. Man, it's exciting, man.
I want to make
the Virgin Islands, man.
That's it, baby. Good. I want to make you an offer though. So I'm talking to Mauricio Suleiman. I'm looking at hosting the WBC convention in Sydney in 2026.
Wow.
So I'd love to bring you over for that to Australia.
Oh, great. That would be awesome, man.
And you're a WBC
Solomon.
champion.
Solomon have a son that is boxing, man.
Yeah, well, you're a WBC legend. So this year it's in Bangkok, and next year I want to bring it to Sydney. And Mauricio is behind me, and I really want to make it happen.
Awesome, man. Oh, boy, it would be a privilege, man. God bless you. I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to come on your program, man. Thank you very much.
It's been a bit of a childhood dream. I mean, I'm still a kid at heart, and I grew up watching guys like yourself and Sweet Pea, Chavez, and all them guys. And I never would have dreamed I'd be interviewing the Hawk, mate. So thank you so much for your time, my friend.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on a ringside seat with Tassie, and it's just so great to meet you and to see you're in good health and to hear some great stories from the Hawk.
Yeah, man. Awesome, man. Again, looking forward to seeing you. I hope that man, I would love to come to that that venue
I'll
that you're trying to get together. So
we'll send you an invite. We'll send you an invite. It'll be about
God bless you, man.
2:26. God bless you, brother. And thanks again for your time, my friend, and keep in touch.
Thank you, babe. One love.
See you, brother. God bless.